All righty, it's 1:30. We've got senior quarterback Blake Horvath with us. Tim Nolan, you lead us off.
Blake, given all the chatter specifically centered around you this offseason, how badly do you want this season to start just so you can finally let your play on the field speak for itself?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. There's a lot of hypotheticals, a lot of what ifs out there. And I don't think those are exciting sometimes, but they don't always tell the truth and they can inflate egos and sort of distort things. So I think we're all just excited to get out there on the field and to, get after VMI.
And this is your last time stepping on the field for the first time in a season. Have you allowed yourself a chance to process that and reflect on just how far you've come at the academy?
I don't think I've really done a good job of sort of reflecting on that and acknowledging that. So I think it'll definitely hit me stepping in the stadium for the first time this Saturday for the game. But definitely just gotta be grateful for everything and the opportunity that I get.
As the accolades have continued to come in, the different watch lists, how have you stayed laser focused on the task at hand and kind of distance yourself from all that noise?
Yeah, I think it's really been what our team's always been about. It's just, the bigger picture. And there's not a single guy on our team that is focused on individual accolades. And I can fully 100% agree with that. We want to win. At the end of the day, that's all it is. Not a single guy here wants their name in the newspaper on a loss, right? So I think that's just what sort of motivated us and sort of fueled us through this entire offseason is to prove all the doubters wrong and to achieve these high expectations set for us.
Thank you.
Wyckoff.
Yeah, Blake, taking a step back, how important is it for this football team to have a quarterback who is coming back after a season where the offense has been successful, coming in like you and your offense are this year?
I think it just provides a little bit of calmness, honestly, to everybody. Whenever you have continuity, especially at the quarterback position, if you can't be confident in the guy playing there, it's going to cause a lot of stressful situations for everybody. It's just not going to be fun. If you can get that position figured out, no matter what team you're on, I think that just creates a level of calmness in an area where you can sort of start focusing on more little details than you would have in the past because you got to find who's going to play that position. So I think it's allowed us to build on a lot of different things.
Coming off that full season under center last year, what was the thing during the off season, even though you're still practicing and working out and training, what was the one thing that you really wanted to do coming into this year that you learned last year?
I think it's just expanding my knowledge of the offense, right? And the little intricacies. It's good to be able to run it. It's good to be able to operate within it, but being able to see what Coach Cronic is really seeing from the booth down the field, right? Why he's calling certain plays, what I might think, forming a better relationship with him so that, I can go to him and say, hey, these sort of plays might work. Installing that in the game plan each week has sort of been integral for me and just sort of understanding his offense and our offense on a better level.
And how do you deal with the pressure? I mean, there's pressure not only of going into your senior year on the yard of what's ahead of you, but also the pressure of, like Tim said, all these different people saying different things, but also that the teammates are counting on you.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, but I have a great support system. It just keeps me grounded in all those different things. And you got to be able to compartmentalize in all the different parts of your life. And so, you got to have a sense of urgency, especially on the football field, and an urgency to get better and to do the right thing every day, and no complacency. But at the end of the day, right, it's not what makes or breaks you. You can't let it affect other areas of your life. And so, just going about day by day, just with all those people that support me and care about me. So that's sort of how I manage the stress and pressure.
And finally, how blessed are you to have come along with this class of seniors at the Naval Academy?
Very blessed. I remember thinking back when I was coming in here, right, it would be a good class just because of how COVID was shaking out, sort of beginning of the transfer portal. I knew a lot of really talented guys would slip through the cracks, and I think I turned out to be right personally. And so I think it's allowed us to be a really strong team, and I couldn't be prouder of the guys and how far we made it.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Scott.
Luke Jackson, press box. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Luke's going to go last. He has some offbeat questions asked. So I'll skip Luke, go to Wags.
Hey Blake, how's everything?
Wags, how you doing?
Doing great. So, I mean, do you feel like there's things you're doing better this preseason and going into game one than you were doing at this time last year?
Yeah, I think obviously the confidence is the biggest thing. In my case, I didn't know what to expect last year, being the first time really controlling the offense. You can point to some games sophomore year, but I wouldn't really count that. So last year being able to build on that, I think that's the biggest thing for any player, any quarterback, especially is being able to be confident in command. So I think there will be a little bit better of that hopefully this year. And then just overall efficiency. Not getting sometimes fidgety, maybe in the pocket, especially in the passing game, working on that a lot more.
So Coach Newberry was talking yesterday about doing more, having you check things at the line of scrimmage, that your knowledge of the offense is such now that can you kind of talk about what he means? I mean, so are you not having to check with the sidelines? You can do it yourself without having to, look over at whomever is sending signals?
Yeah, I think this year we're trying to allow a little bit more autonomy to me and our offense. In the past, you can look to some games last year where we had plays called no real system or ways to check out of them, and the other defense just had us beat. So we didn't want to get in those situations in games where you just chalk up a play to a loss right before the play even starts, just because they're in a better defensive scheme than we anticipated for that play, and that gets us into a guessing game, right? What are they going to be lined up on this play and that play? So we sort of decided this offseason, like, let's just be done guessing, right? And we'll just give sort of the keys to me and Braxton and our offense, and to read what the defense has given us, and allow a little bit more autonomy to get us in the right play every single down.
So has that been working well in preseason when you've had to do the check on your own? Have you been doing it right, or have there been times when you checked and oh boy, wasn't the right check and it was even worse than it could have been? No?
No, it's been good. You got to learn the system. You got to learn to see the looks, right? You want to see them as many as you possibly can, right? It doesn't help you to be right every single time. You got to get something wrong. You got to fail. You got to see why you shouldn't call different things, right? And so I think that's been good for all the quarterbacks, right? Me, Braxton, Jackson, Trey. It doesn't matter, right? We've all been able to see those looks, see other guys and what they've called, and every single time I see Braxton in and he's got one of our plays called where he's sort of surveying, I'm surveying too. I'm like, well, here's what play he should call here, and so it gets us all reps. So, I can't say that we batted 100% every single time, but it definitely gotten a lot better.
We've talked about expanding the passing game. Last season, primarily the people targeted were the slots or the snipes and Alex, the fullbacks. Talking about getting the wide receivers and tight ends more involved. And both of those units, the coaches said we have to build trust. Blake has to trust our players to be willing to throw them the ball. Where are you with trusting the split ends and the tight ends?
I think they've done a tremendous job this offseason, especially Cody, obviously getting healthy again. I've always sort of trusted him. He just had a tough time, always staying healthy, been on the field. So it's been great to have him back this offseason. And Luke Hutchison, Nathan Kent, Josh Guerin, all three of those guys, Kendall Evans have really stepped up. Casey Smith as well, all stepped up and performed to a level where, they've been making plays, right? It's not had to have been a perfect ball or a perfect route or anything. They go up and they adjust, they make plays, they make blocks. And so they've done a great job this offseason as well. And then, like I said, with tight ends, Cody and Jake, and then some of the freshmen even coming along with Jordan Collins and those guys, they're doing a really good job. So the trust has definitely grown in all those departments.
So you have two sophomore tackles, and most importantly, on the left side, Crowley is blocking your blind side.
Hmm.
During preseason, have there been a lot of lookout, Blake, or do you feel like Crowley's doing a good job protecting your blind side?
Same thing I said with our checks and stuff. There's growing pains. There's you got to fail. You got to see different things, and going from Connor McMahon, who's played since his sophomore year, as well, and then grown to senior, and he was great. And going against our defense all offseason is not easy for Sean and for Connor, and so for those two to be able to just get reps, that's the biggest thing. Is you just got to keep getting reps, and you got to keep failing. You really do. You have to keep failing and then coming back and getting better each step, and I've seen that from both of them. And so Sean, he's doing a great job back there and he's working his butt off. So you can tell.
There, Coach Cronick said that I asked him specifically about a package for Braxton, and he said yes. Now, he wouldn't elaborate as to what that could be, but I mean, are you opposed to that? Or, I mean, you probably want to be on the field at all times. I mean, what do you think of having Braxton come in and run a series or two.
It'd be great. I think, it just helps us all, right? I think we would all say that, we need to have a little bit more readiness at all times in the quarterback room just for anything to happen. And I think he would be the first one to say that, he wishes he would have prepared better last season so that, games like Tulane don't happen. And he's how he approaches everything is great now, like, and how he does all that. And, I think it would be good also just to keep him oiled up because it's hard to come into games when you haven't had reps for weeks, especially live situations. So, hopefully be able to get him into games, and just keep him, operating well. It is definitely a goal this season.
So the idea of a Braxton package goes hand in hand with the coaches have talked a lot about trying to reduce the wear and tear on you. The more you're running the ball, the more hits you're taking, the more wear and tear. Is that something that's been discussed?
Yeah, I think so. And that just goes along with taking care of my body and not taking unnecessary hits, like I did last year. So it's just about being smart and, hopefully getting to the point in games where we can do that. But it starts with execution. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited for everybody in our room.
I'll pass it off. Thank you.
Joe Miller.
Hey Blake, it's interesting. You've started 13 games in your career, and we talk about you like you're the finished product. But when you look into the rest of the college football world, 13 starts doesn't seem like a lot for one player. But take me through how you've matured. What are you go back to like start three or four? How you a different quarterback from maybe 10 starts ago to now when you reflect back on that throughout your time here?
Yeah, I think I've always known that I'm just a player who gets better with, a game experience, whatever that may be, and just seeing different looks and seeing the speed of things and getting comfortable with all that. And so I think just the more and more reps I've gotten and the games have gone by, the confidence grows right from the first game to the second game to the third game. Right. Last year we sort of incorporated different things. So there were sort of different things growing at each point. Last year I didn't do much for Spucknell, but the command was there and just sort of seeing how our offense operated, it gave me confidence. Then able to do some more things versus Temple and then Memphis and then on and on. And so it sort of allowed me to grow and just recognize my role and what I need to do for this team and what's needed of me for us to be successful. And I think the biggest thing is just decision making. My first game, especially second game, just maybe was nervous a little bit, decision making, and wasn't sure of what to do. Now I think, just being able to grow and see so many different things, you can have a little bit more confidence in your decisions and know what you're doing with the ball.
From your perspective, from the quarterback perspective, throwing the ball to Eli, he seems like a very good route runner. He uses his body well to shield off defenders. But from your perspective, what does he do well as a receiver that you have confidence in?
Yeah, he just creates a lot of separation. That's the biggest thing. Right there is a guy's on him, covering him, and may see him, and then he makes a cut, and then he's got 5 yards separation immediately, and that's a lot of room after a cut to throw a ball and have confidence that no one's going to make a play on it, pick it off, and just his ability to make plays as well. You don't have to throw a perfect ball; he's going to catch it. If you can put it anywhere within his radius. So he's a special route runner, that's for sure.
For your matchup with VMI for the offense, what are the one or two keys that you're sort of your mantra headed into this game that you're focused on for game one?
I think it only comes down to execution and effort. Just like in any game, those are the two that are going to be the best. But especially in this first one against the military academy, just like how you would against Army or Air Force, it comes down to how well you execute your base stuff, right? And can you play with effort and can you be the tougher team? I think that's what we want to do. It's all it boils down to. You don't want to get, have to rely on fancy and trick plays in these games against military academies, right? It depends on how well can you run the stuff that you've installed on the first day of camp, and try and beat the other team. So,
thanks, Blake.
Blake, you talked about your support system. I'm assuming number one on that list is your mom and dad. How important have they been on your journey from plebe, not playing, to sophomore, getting your first career start, getting hurt, being out for the year, and to last year and this year?
They've been instrumental, especially, and just the biggest support's just being here for me. They come down to every game. They've always been here since freshman year, and so I think something that they've always done well, just in my life, is they leave sports as sports, right? They see the game, they know I lived it, I see it, They know that I don't need to relive everything all the time and spend times either talking about bad things or even good things. They've always said they're like, we had a rule when I was a kid that the only time they would talk about the game was if I brought it up, right? And so yeah, it's just sort of how they've been. They've always been super supportive and allowed me to make my mistakes and sort of reflect and recognize those. And it's allowed me to still enjoy and love what I do, right? Because they're on my back about it and they love and enjoy what I do. So that's the bigger thing is just seeing the joy that this has all had brought them. And it's great. So always shout out to them.
Tim Nolan. Good. Let's see. Scott Wyckoff.
Yeah, Blake, how much better is it this year with the communications through the helmet, the comfort? Everything was so new last year, and it was almost like an experiment, but you had to do it in the games. What's it like now, having had a full season and moving on with that?
Yeah, I think we didn't really get started until using that till a little bit later, just because we wanted to make sure that we had the signals installed. We wanted to make sure we had the verbiage installed. We wanted to make sure we had all that stuff right, so we didn't have to rely on that coach to player communication. Because obviously there are games last year where it went down, it didn't work, and I had to switch helmets, different things. So you still have to be able to operate even if that goes down. So being able to use that now, incorporate that a little more, especially in the age of sign stealing. We all know it exists, right? Maybe not on a Connor Stallions level, but teams try and do it. So you got to be able to protect your signals. You got to be able to use that communication and be effective.
When you have this relationship that you talked about a little bit earlier with Coach Cronic, how lucky were you and both Braxton to come along the same time he was coming along, kind of learning together as a coach and a player through your maturation?
Yeah, I think both of us would say that the biggest thing he's helped us with is just our confidence and our belief in ourselves, and being able to operate this system, right? And so he pushes us every day to, be leaders and lead this team and to fight through adversity. And so I definitely think both of us are just thankful for everything he's given us and being able to sort of develop alongside him.
See you at practice tomorrow.
See you, Scott.
Wags.
Can you talk about some of the other guys at the position? First of all, I mean, I asked about Braxton. How are you seeing Braxton? How is he a better quarterback to this right now than he was this time last year?
Yeah, broken record probably, but just his confidence, his ability to go in the game and know what's going to get done. And I think his belief in himself, to just make plays, right? I think that's the biggest thing sometimes is to make the plays. You got to believe that you can do them, and you can see that, especially after ECU. So that's the biggest thing. And then the other guys in the room, especially Jackson Gutierrez, the same sort of way. He's just been, it's growing pains, right? It's freshman year. It's understanding the offense. It's not getting a lot of reps to then. The end of the season, he was getting a ton of reps trying to catch up and stuff with injuries. And so he's definitely grown a ton. And then he had some, stuff this offseason that sort of forced him to grow up a little more quickly this fall camp. But he's been doing great. And then the thing with the young guys is you got to see the decision making, sort of get better sometimes growing up, because like Jackson, amazing arm, super talented arm, right? But sometimes with that, it comes with the decision making may not be always great because you think you can fit a ball in where it's just not plausible. So I think that him and Trey just once they grow in that decision making and that maturation, they'll be a lot better players.
Alex Irby was a very highly touted recruit out of Pennsylvania. I think he was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Pennsylvania. How's he looked? I saw him practice a couple times. He had some boo-boos of drop, snaps and stuff. But does you see talent in this guy?
Absolutely. I see talent in all those play quarterbacks, honestly. But yeah, he's very talented. And I think they're all doing a good job just balancing football and plebe life, honestly. Trying to do the right things and getting out of plebe summer and trying to get their bodies healthy again. And the growing pains happen. If you would have taken my freshman film, you would have thought I was the worst quarterback in Navy history. So, you can't take the freshman stuff with too much too much power. People grow, people develop, people understand things more, gain confidence. So all of them are doing a good job.
So I'm going to ask Strasser's favorite question. Wrinkles, innovations. Do you think Navy fans will see, and opposing defenses are going to see some things they didn't see last year?
We'll see, hopefully.
Good answer. So Miller,
I'd like to go, play four, Wags. We're gonna do this.
Yep. Second drive, 36-yard line.
Blake, we talked with Coach the other day, and he talked a little bit about the development of the guys at the snipe position and sort of the depth being there a little bit more this season. What have you seen some from those guys that really haven't had a lot of game snaps? What have you seen from that position group as they're starting to develop over summer?
Yeah, I think sometimes, when you go through this roster and you're like, oh, well, they got Chat and Eli, they're good. And then you overlook the fact that, they're staples in this offense and that, you sort of need some development, especially next year, right? After they leave. And that needs to start now. You can't wait until this season ends and then hope somebody shows up next year. You need guys to cement themselves now so that they can grow next year and develop and focus on different things. So I think all those guys, Charles Robinson, he switched from quarterback over to snipe. He's done a really good job. Isaiah Bryant, again, he's grown. He played a lot last year, but still growing, developing as a leader and especially in that room. I'm trying to think of everybody else. Gage Leonard's doing a really good job. Mikey Barrow, youngster, he stepped up a lot. He's a powerful dude. He might not be the tallest, but man, he's powerful and he wants to do the right thing every play. And he's smart. So those things help him. And so just all those guys, some freshmen coming along again, like I said, maybe not full understanding of the offense, but the effort's really high.
And the last one for me is you've obviously gotten a lot of notoriety over the last few years, and people talking about the hype for this season and everything. But how do you put that all in perspective? Like, what's your grounding source? Where do you go? What do you do?
Yeah. I just, call the people that are close to me, especially, and just talk to them and see all that stuff. And then just, take it as it is. Football isn't who I am. It's something I do. And, love all those people that root for me now. But at the same point, you always got to put it in perspective because if I played terrible last year, they'd probably all call for me to be benched and fixed. And so, it is what it is. I'm glad I can and bring the joy, but at the same point, who I am, my grounding, right, is my family, my friends, my faith. Those people that, would have cared for me, still asked how my day was, whether or not I was a starting quarterback or not. So that's just sort of how I view it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, Joe.
All right, Luke Jackson, press box.
All right, Blake, I've got some different sort of questions for you, not
No worries.
football related.
Let's go.
Okay, so I actually asked these questions of one of your former teammates, Debo Fofana, last year. He had some good stuff, but I think you're going to have some better stuff.
Hopefully.
Okay. What's a bucket list place you've never been?
Bucket list place I've never been. Probably, I would say Rome.
All right. If you could trade places with any movie or TV character, who would it be?
Ooh, I would say, um, oh shoot, I was just gonna say somebody else. TV character. I want to say, I'm trying to think of what movie that was. I don't know. I would say, I gotta think of something better. I'll just go with my favorite movie. I'll say Po from Kung Fu Panda.
Okay. What's your favorite pregame meal or snack?
Favorite pregame snack is fruit snacks. The little red bag. Scott Maher, shout out.
What's your favorite guilty food?
But favorite guilty food, movie theater popcorn with tons and tons of butter.
Who was your favorite sports star when you were a kid?
My favorite was probably um Andrew McCutcheon, Pittsburgh
Ooh,
Pirates.
okay. Um, who was your favorite sports team growing up? Was it Pirates?
The Pittsburgh Steelers were my favorite
Oh,
sports team, but
all
Andrew
right.
McCutcheon was the best.
All right. What would you be if you weren't a football player?
I would probably be I don't know, I'd probably join like an a cappella group like Pitch Perfect or something.
Are you a good cook?
I think I am. I think my girlfriend, my parents would say no.
Okay. What's the best dish you make?
I make a really good like garlic and steak a garlic like cream sauce and steak pasta. Make.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to do on a day off?
Watch
if you even have
movies.
days off at the Naval Academy.
Watch movies. I love watching movies or playing pickleball.
So all right. So what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I really like The Prestige. You know
Okay.
that one? And then the newest movie I've watched, I really like F1. It's a good one.
Oh yeah, I like that too. That was
It's a good
good.
one.
I thought it was a good one for like people like me who like aren't F1 fans but could pick it up. Anyway,
Absolutely. Yeah.
um, Hidden Talent.
Hidden talent. Um, Shoot, I don't know. I'm really good. This is weird. Me and my best friend back at home are really good at I'm good at throwing food in other people's mouths.
Okay. All right.
Like
I've
M&Ms.
yeah, I've never gotten that answer before.
Yeah.
Go-to karaoke song.
Go-to karaoke song. Probably Party in the USA.
That's a good one. Is there an exercise you hate doing?
Uh, um, yeah. Running over a mile and a half.
Okay. Favorite AAC road trip.
I really enjoyed Birmingham last year.
Okay. Do you have a book you're currently reading? Or one of the last
The
book you
one I
read?
just finished up reading was Wisdom of the Bullfrog by Admiral McCraven.
All right. What's it about?
It's about just his lessons on leadership. Admiral McCraven, longtime Navy SEAL, um, was they called the Bullfrog, the oldest active Navy SEAL for a really long time. It's just his lessons on leadership, what he's learned in his life. So really good.
What's your favorite thing about Annapolis?
The crab dip.
All right. What show have you been binging lately?
Severance,
All right.
and
Uh,
I'm rewatching Modern Family.
okay. What's the best tip you've ever been given?
Be yourself. Don't gotta be anybody else.
All right. That's all I got. All right. Thanks, Blake.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate it.
Luke. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Anyone else have any fun questions for Blake? All right. Thanks a lot, Blake. Great
All
job.
right.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
everybody.